In America, we don't throw away legends, but someone did, and it sat here, rotting in silence, for 27 years. Until now, on the edge of town, there's a junkyard that nobody visits anymore. Rusted gates, moss-covered fences, forgotten machines, piled on top of each other, slowly disappearing under years of rust and silence. The kind of place where things go when people stop believing in them. We walked through the rows slowly, crushed cars, broken frames, engines that hadn't turned in decades. Everything here had a story that ended too soon. And then, there, half buried, hidden beneath a collapsed shelf, and a pile of scrap metal, a shape that was impossible to mistake. A tank, a frame, an engine. This was a 1969 Harley-Davidson Sportster. It had spent 27 years here, waiting, quietly, just waiting for someone to notice it, someone to stop and look. We stopped, we looked, we knelt beside it, brushed away the rust with our hands. The metal underneath was still solid. The frame hadn't bent. The engine cases were intact. The crankcases were whole. This machine hadn't given up. It had just been abandoned. We made a call. We agreed on a price. And on that cold, still morning, this forgotten legend had someone fighting for it again. Getting it out wasn't easy. It hadn't moved in nearly 3 decades. The wheels were fused to the ground. The tires had cracked and crumbled into themselves. Every component felt locked in place, held down by years of rust, weight, and time. We worked carefully, slowly, lifting each section by hand, making sure nothing cracked, nothing broke, every movement deliberate, every step considered. We loaded it onto the flatbed, secured it with soft ties and ratchet straps, wrapped the most fragile parts. And on that morning, as the sun began to rise over the junkyard, the 1969 Harley-Davidson Sportster left the place where it had been abandoned. It was taking its first journey in a very long time, but the real journey was only just beginning. When it arrived at the restoration workshop, we saw the full picture for the first time, under proper light, without the shadows of the junkyard, hiding the damage. The assessment was heavy. The fuel tank had corroded from the inside out. The carburetor was completely blocked, sealed solid, with decades of old fuel residue. The exhaust pipes had rusted through. The electrical system had nearly vanished entirely. The wiring crumbled between our fingers like old glass, but the frame was solid. The engine block was intact. The crankshaft turned, with effort, with resistance, but it turned. That was enough, because this engine was never designed to give up easily. The 1969 Harley-Davidson Sportster was one of the most determined, most capable machines of the entire Ironhead era. The story of the Sportster began in 1957. Harley-Davidson was searching for an answer. British motorcycles, Triumph, BSA, Norton, were flooding the American market. They were lighter, faster, more nimble, and American riders were starting to notice. Harley needed something different, something leaner, something that could compete on performance, not just presence. And from that need, the XL Sportster was born. The first Sportster carried an 883 cubic centimeters overhead valve V-twin engine. The engine and transmission were housed in a single unified casing, a major engineering advancement for its time. Then in 1958, everything changed again. The XLCH arrived. Competition hot. That's what the letters stood for. No electric starter, no battery, no compromise, magneto ignition, racing tires, a small peanut-shaped fuel tank as standard. This was the stripped-down, raw, unfiltered version of the Sportster. It was the purest expression of the American open road. By 1969, the Sportster had reached its peak. That year, Harley sold 5,100 XLCH Sportsters. The factory had spent months running the cylinder heads through flow testing, improving breathing, improving efficiency, improving power. The engine that year was better than it had ever been. The price was $1,765. At the time, roughly the same as a small family car. But the people who bought one weren't thinking about cars. They were thinking about the road ahead, and nothing else. Standing in front of this engine now, disassembled, covered in rust, worn down by time, you could still feel what it once was. 882 cubic centimeters, air-cooled, a 45-degree V-twin with overhead valves, cast iron cylinder heads, which is exactly why this generation earned the name Ironhead, Ironheads, a name that carried weight, a name that meant something. 4-speed transmission, between 60 and 65 horsepower, at 6,800 revolutions per minute, a dry weight of approximately 225 kilograms. On paper, those numbers might seem modest by today's standards, but numbers don't tell the whole story. A well-tuned XLCH could cover a quarter mile in under 13 seconds, trap speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour. On a public road, could push well past 100 miles per hour, and it did, regularly. And through all of it, that sound, that deep, heavy, chest-filling V-twin exhaust note, the sound that made people stop on the sidewalk and turn their heads, the sound that, once heard, is never forgotten. That sound is still unmatched today. The 1969 Sportster wasn't just a motorcycle, it was a piece of American culture. Between 1969 and 1970, a television series called Then Came Bronson aired across the United States. The main character, searching for meaning, crossing the country alone, rode a 1969 Harley-Davidson XLH Sportster. That image burned itself into the minds of millions of Americans. Freedom, open road, wind, no one to answer to but yourself. The Sportster carried the spirit of that era like nothing else. In the years that followed, Evel Knievel's record-setting machines were built on the Sportster platform. These bikes appeared on drag strips, race circuits, and the open highways of every American state. And now, one of them stood in our workshop, disassembled, waiting. That spirit was still here. The frame went to sandblasting first. Years of rust, paint, and grime stripped back layer by layer. What emerged underneath was bare, clean metal, white and smooth. The frame was perfect. Not a crack, not a bend, built to last, just as it had been over half a century ago. The engine was fully disassembled. Every single component carefully inspected, cleaned, and measured. Every surface checked, every tolerance verified. New gaskets, new piston rings, new valve seals. Everything that time had worn away, replaced. The carburetor was completely rebuilt from the inside. Jets cleaned, needles set, float adjusted. The fuel system replaced entirely from tank to carburetor. The wiring loom rerouted from scratch. Every cable, every connector, every fuse. All of it new, all of it clean. The frame was painted matte black. Classic, understated, exactly as it should be. New exhaust pipes fitted. Fresh rubber on cleaned and polished rims. The seat reupholstered, firm and clean. The tank restored, inside and out, day after day. The bench that was once covered in broken, rusted components, slowly emptied, and piece by piece, the motorcycle on the stand grew more complete. Every part, every bolt, every connection, placed with patience, tightened with care, done quietly, without rushing. There was no shortcut worth taking. On a machine like this engine was going to breathe again. The moment finally came. We opened the fuel tap, primed the carburetor, ran through the final checks, one last time, checked every connection, verified every line, made sure everything that needed to be right was right. Then we kicked it. Once, a click, twice, a shudder, 3 times. The engine fired. That deep, heavy, unmistakable 882 cubic centimeters Ironhead voice broke 27 years of silence. Smoke curled from the exhaust. The engine shook, found its rhythm, settled, and held its idle. We didn't say anything. We didn't need to. That sound said everything. The 1969 Harley-Davidson Sportster was alive again, not restored to survive on a display stand, not rebuilt to sit behind glass at a show, restored to ride, restored to run,
works.
restored to do exactly what it was built to do in 1969, move, breathe, and sound like nothing else on the road. Someone had left it behind and never come back. Maybe life got in the way. Maybe they meant to return and never did. We don't know their name. We don't know their story. But we know this machine deserved better than to end its days rusting in a forgotten junkyard on the edge of town. So we came back for it. We always come back, because every machine like this, every rusted, forgotten, written off piece of history still has something left to give. It just needs someone willing to listen, someone willing to put in the hours, the patience, the care. This is why we do this, not for the finished result alone, but for the process, for the quiet hours in the workshop, for the moment an engine that hasn't run in decades coughs, shudders, and comes back to life, for moments exactly like this one. The 1969 Harley-Davidson Sportster. After 27 years of silence, it was ready to ride again.